Why in Canada do we disparage all our heroes? Jerry Amernic is here with me to discuss that. But before, please subscribe and donate. Keep us on the air. Justin Trudeau told the New York Times that Canada has no core identity, is a post-nationalistic state, in all his wisdom. And after that, we has Sir John A. McDonald ripped out of public places, names abandoned. Everybody wants to have some weird new name. Why do Canadians do that, put up with that? Americans wouldn't say, we can't have George Washington on the dollar bill.
Well, Americans don't like it when you screw with their history. Canadians, first of all, Canadians do not know their history.
Why not? So why don't we?
Because our school system, our education system has thrown history out the window. Now, I would also argue they've thrown grammar and English out the window too.
I know they have, I know that.
I've taught at community colleges and I can tell you that. But as far as history, I look at students today as victims of a lousy educational system because they don't get any history.
Right.
And the history they're increasingly getting is a history with an ideological bent to it.
Right.
You know?
And so why do Canadians allow that to happen? Why do parents allow the fact that their kids are coming home knowing nothing? I know that to be the case. I agree with you. But why do parents allow that? We elect trustees who are complete idiots.
Well, you know, I have a book coming out in the fall. And one of the people I interviewed for the book, he's no longer with us, Harry Giles, was a great educator. He formed the Toronto French schools, got the Order of Canada, and he was a student of education. He studied educational systems around the world. And I remember him telling me, and I put this in my book, he said, when Canadians hear, or Ontarians hear that we have the best educational system in the world, don't believe it, it's bull.
We used to though.
Well, I don't know if we ever had the best.
It was very good.
But I think it was better.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case
So why
today.
do Canadians allow this to happen? I mean, you know, I know the chairman of university, they ripped down the statue of Sir John A. McDonald in Queens, and he said, oh, we couldn't do anything about it. Throw up their hands.
Well, I think David Frum is a journalist I admire.
Right.
And he did an article, I forget where it appeared, but he said universities are run by spineless cowards, right?
Okay.
And I think that's his view, but I think when you look at all the encampments that took place the summer last year and how the universities were allowing it to happen, and I visited the one down at U of T, I mean, it's pathetic.
They are spineless. We know that.
Yeah.
Oh, academic freedom, and they're all lefties now, or half communists. But still, though, this is Canadian history.
Yeah.
Why do they say our history stinks and we want to whitewash it?
Well, it's part of this, you know, I would call it anti-white, colonial, so-called colonial look at history, right? Just because someone is a white man from the 1800s doesn't mean he has to be disparaged. Johnny McDonald was a great hero. And almost single-handedly, maybe single-handedly, created this country. We could have been swallowed up by the United States. You know, the Brits didn't think this was going to work. The Americans didn't think this was going to work.
And he did it, so why isn't he a hero?
Well, anyone who looks at the history will see the truth about John A. McDonald. But the people that look at it don't know the history. They have an agenda. They influence politicians, and the politicians don't know the history either.
Jerry, you put it well. I want you to come back when your book is out.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. 3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.